Hi YouTube, before we jump into the video today, I'd like to make a quick announcement. Today, we are raising money for cancer research and special effect, and so I would be absolutely honored if you would join me either on Twitch or go and visit the donation page that you can find in the description below. Thank you so much for your continued support. Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and are you ready to see the highest experience that was achieved by any player, at least that was uploaded onto the What Replays website in the year of 2022? Well, here you go. Our hero today is Gabrielle of the North American server, and they are playing in the one and only. It is the Tier 8 French medium tank. It is the Bourrasque. Now let me clarify, there were actually higher experience games, but they were all in a one-trick pony of a tank, which is the Churchill 3. The Tier 5 Soviet premium heavy tank has a ridiculous experience modifier, which means that the Churchill, even in a much lesser game, is going to end up with a higher experience total. The Bourrasque, on the other hand, doesn't have an experience advantage compared to other vehicles. It's just got the advantage of being an absolutely awesome tank, and that is why Gabrielle is going to be able to do so well in it. Not because it's getting a huge experience multiplier like in a Churchill. And trust me, after watching about 100 Churchill games over the years, they really don't get any more interesting. Gabrielle, on the other hand, is going to show you some Bourrasque masterclass here. They're going to show you all of the tips and tricks that you are going to be able to need to master if you want to dominate in this vehicle. So the Bourrasque, why is it such a good tank? How about delivering 2 rounds within 2 seconds of the first shot? This 720 magazine with a decent amount of damage per minute of 1,800, and the flexibility, incredibly sneaky to be able to get around the map, to be able to deliver it, makes this thing an absolute wild child. Now, Gabrielle has actually set their vehicle up in a combat way. They are using bond vents, they are using bounty vert stabs, and they're also using a bounty aiming device. And you know what? I like this build so much that I think I'm going to have to try it out myself. Currently on my Bourrasque, I have one Ultra Scout build with like an exhaust, with a vision system and vents, and then I have another one where I'm dropping, I believe, the exhaust and using vert stabs instead. But I really like the look of improving not only the gun handling, but also the accuracy on the Bourrasque, which is what Gabrielle is going to be showing you today. And why not? Because the vehicle's got a horrible base accuracy of 0.42, which means that if you don't improve it, even with things like the field mod improvement that you can take to get a little bit of an accuracy boost on this vehicle, it's still absolutely horrendous. But looking at how accurate Gabrielle is with the aiming device on this vehicle, with the vert stabs as well, it's just the perfect map for it. You don't really need a vision system, you don't really need coated optics on a small map like Mines. And when you think about it, there are a lot of maps in the game that are like this one, where it'd be far best to try and pump up the combat capacity of the vehicle. I think Gabrielle has taken the 3 most important equipments for pumping up said statistics. Already up to 4,000 damage in the first 3 minutes of this battle, Gabrielle is turning Mines into their territory, their battlefield, going from left to right, approaching every single flank, dealing 720 damage after 720 damage, hitting every single one of their shots with clinical precision. So right now in this situation, Gabrielle's team is still fairly close. They're up by 1,000 hit points and 3 kills, of which 4 of those 6 have been down to Gabrielle themselves. But Mines always becomes this funny stalemate on the hill now, where there's not really too much to do, especially when the other enemy team are doing sneaky things like sitting underneath the hill and proxy spotting. And that will make Gabrielle's life incredibly difficult, because they're no longer going to be able to go into the bushes without getting spotted by the 50-meter proxy range, and that will allow all of the tank destroyers at the back of the map to be able to nail Gabrielle. And also, by not using a commander's vision system on this tank, they are not going to have the vision to be able to catch those tank destroyers out. And so I love what Gabrielle is doing here. Realizing this, they're going to make their way down the west of this map and go after their opponents that way. And through this line of attack, it's not turning into some stupid proxy spotting fight like that can happen on Mines. And luckily, because none of the enemy team are situated down on this western flank, Gabrielle is going to be able to slip right in and fully aim some shots at the T-29. And I just love this gun handling because of the vert stabs on the Bourrasque here. Combine that with the aiming device, and wow, this thing just seems to be such a devil at long range. Wargaming tried to do everything that they possibly could on the Borask to stop this vehicle from being able to do this, with a bloom of 4 after firing, the horrible accuracy on the vehicle as well, but it just seems to absolutely clamp. Now, the reason why the vert stabs are so special on this vehicle is not really because of the benefit that they have when you're moving or when you're turning the turret, but a lot of it comes down to that bloom after firing. As I said, Wargaming gave the Borask a terrible bloom after firing value of 4. Now this is a hidden statistic that you're only going to be able to see on a website like Tanks.gg, for example. But that value is how much the gun will bloom out after each shot. Now vertical stabilizers will reduce that by the percentage of stabilization that they provide. So regular vert stabs are 20, and I believe the bounty vert stabs that Gabrielle is using here is going to be 25%. So that value of 4 now goes down to 3, and that's significantly better, which means that the relatively horrible aim time of 3.5 seconds on the Borask doesn't really come into play because the reticle never blooms out in the first place. That's the age-old reason of why on an autoloader it is 99% of the time better to use something that will reduce the bloom in the first place rather than try and improve the aim time of the vehicle. Although there are some autoloaders that can only have to sacrifice their reload to be able to improve their bloom, and that can revolutionize vehicles like the Cobra, for example. Talk about revolution right now. Gabrielle is just a one-man army, already destroying half of the enemy team, and now up to 6,500 damage with great plays against the T-103. Loading now an AP magazine to be able to hopefully go after the Skoda T-56. And there you go, right through the side of the Czechoslovakian heavy tank. Now, unfortunately for Gabrielle, they've got to work their way through quite a number of the enemy team. But fortunately for them, also their team are just sort of chilling on the hill and just spotting out for Gabrielle, which gives them more than enough time to be able to do their work. Gosh, these games are just absolutely outrageous. You know, watching 7,000 damage in this scenario is just crazy. Okay, so listen out. Gabrielle is now in a situation against an SU-130 PM. Are they going to go for a shot into the side of the Kraslavski's turret here? And this replay was from far enough back in the year. It was before Wargaming introduced all of those lovely new outlining features, so if you're wondering why things are looking a little bit screwed up right now. One into the side of the Kraslavski, second into the side of the Kraslavski, for near exact average of 720 damage. And now up to over 8,000 damage. Hopefully, Gabrielle is going to have enough ammunition to deal with the enemy team. As the Borask, it doesn't have the smallest amount of ammo. I can't really remember running out of ammunition on a Borask myself, but wow, did you hear the intuition switch there? As Gabrielle is now going to min-max their HE mag, 466, 388, when you know 720 alpha damage is not enough. Why not use the 440 alpha damage? And what a beautiful use of the only HE mag that Gabrielle took in the tank there. And when you're not only doing 720, you're doing 850 damage there with a magazine. Now Gabrielle is up to 8 kills this game, and there are now over 9,000 damage. Goodness gracious, just how much further is Gabrielle going to go in this game? This is simply astonishing stuff, and they're even teaching me things here. And that is that I had no idea that you didn't really have to aim at the weak point of the 87 once you managed to get 240 pen, and it looks like right through the front, that kind of mid-plate is actually the best bet. The first ricochet I think we've seen this game from Gabrielle there. Hopefully they're not going to make a habit of that. Now with only 4 rounds left in their vehicle, is it going to be a Fadens medal as well for finishing off the remaining vehicle with the remaining shell in their tank? It's a definite possibility. Gabrielle now just 1 shot away from scoring 10,000 damage, and there you go, 10,147 damage dealt in a blooming tier 8 tank. This is just absolutely outrageous stuff. 10,000 damage, 10 kills. No wonder that Gabrielle has managed to get the highest amount of experience that anyone has achieved this year in World of Tanks so far. This was a tour de force game by Gabrielle, just putting themselves in the right position and just hunting down player after player after player of the enemy team. It doesn't even feel like Gabrielle has been truly tested, and they aren't going to be tested at the end. They have enough time to fully aim at the Skoda T56's lower plate. And would you believe it? Not even a scratch of damage to this Borask here. Maybe Gabrielle could have, I don't know, let the enemy team respawn, see if they can do another 10,000 damage. Wow, what a player. Absolutely dominating the North American server here in, albeit, a very dangerous French premium tank. And just what was the highest experience in 2022? 2,658 base. It's just absolutely outrageous. And Annette's Gabrielle, a Pools medal for those 11 kills, a tank sniper for dealing most of that at long range, and a high caliber for more damage than I've ever dealt even in a tier 10 tank. Well, Gabrielle, thank you so much for showing me up. Only thing I didn't like is the fact you spent 141,000 credits on ammunition. But the way that premium tanks work is if you're able to pen, even resupplying premium consumables at full cost, this was still 91,000 credits profit. So it really shows that as long as you are managing to pen those shells, and let's be honest, without them, Gabrielle probably would have run out of ammunition and not been able to do so much damage at long range, especially against the heavy tanks, then do you really care about firing gold if you can still make 91,000 credits profit a game? And also, take down the title of highest experience in 2022. So, Gabrielle of the North American server, congratulations to you for this absolute monster damage game, which was also actually the highest damage that anyone has ever dealt in a Borask as well. And considering how many people play the Borask, that is an achievement in itself. And thank you very much for uploading the replay onto the What Replays website for the community to enjoy. And I hope all of you did enjoy this video as well. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know what tank holds your highest experience total of all time. And once again, just a reminder that if you're watching this video as it goes live on Friday, I'm going to be live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby, raising money for Special Effect and Cancer Research UK. So if you want to support these two worthy causes today, I'd love for you to choose which one you want to support on my Tiltify page, or come through, join the stream, join the fun, and you'll find the links through there as well. But I'll put them in the description of this video as well. So, thank you so much for watching, and as always, you've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.